Alright, what's up, Genesis? My name's Dugan. Welcome to Random Bible number 6. It's been a long time since we've had a Random Bible. We took a little Random Bible hiatus, whatever that means, and we're back now with number 6. This Random Bible is from the book of Luke, chapter 24, and this is kind of a really interesting little segment here of the Bible. So here's a quick background to the story. This is right after Jesus was killed and raised from the dead. So he was crucified, raised from the dead. This is right after that. And these two disciples are walking to the city called Emmaus. And while they're walking, they're just super bummed out, you know, obviously because Jesus, like their rabbi, they just witnessed him being, brutally killed. And then Jesus appears to them, but something really interesting happens. So check this out. I'm going to just read this story. So this is Luke 24, starting in verse 13. Now that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about, wait for it, page turn, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. Now here's this key verse. Verse 16 says, "But they were kept from recognizing him." Remember that as I keep reading. Jesus asked them, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" They stood still, their faces downcast. One of them asked him, "Are you only a visitor to Jerusalem and you don't know the things that have happened here in these days?" "What things?" Jesus asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. The chief priests and the rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. And what is more, on the third day, it is the third day since all this took place. In addition, some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning, didn't find his body. They came and told us that they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. Then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it just like the women had said, but they did not see him." So Jesus says to them, "How foolish you are, and how slow to believe all the prophets have spoken. Did not the Messiah have to suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" And then, this is key too, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, Jesus explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. Okay, so here we have this picture of these disciples, obviously super depressed. Like, they, again, just watched their Lord and what they thought, who they thought the Messiah would be killed. They're walking along. Jesus appears to him, but they were kept from seeing him. And during this walk, as they're walking along this road, Jesus, beginning with Moses on all this Old Testament, explains to them really the truth about himself, about the Messiah, based on all these Old Testament prophecies and like who Jesus was. But what's so interesting is they were kept from knowing who he was. They had spent 3 years with the guy, living, walking, following, spending every waking moment with him, and they were kept from recognizing him. Well, a long time ago, I heard this author named Graham Cook write this book about these two different things that God will be to you and to me. So so there's these two things. God will either be hidden or he will be manifested. Manifested just means like revealed or like, very obviously seen. So God's either hidden or manifested. Now here's the thing about when God's manifested in our lives, and some of you probably have experienced that, where you just, you're just overjoyed about life and God and being a Christian and getting to know him and worship and reading the Bible and prayer and your friends and coming to church and Genesis and all. So there's these manifested moments where God's presence is really obvious to us. And then when that happens, life is awesome. But the problem with that is when God is manifested, we're so distracted by who he is that he really can't teach us anything. And if you read through more of the scripture about Jesus and his disciples, sometimes he'll say something that seems kind of obvious, and the disciples will be like, what are you talking about? Like, they won't get it because Jesus was so manifested. He's like raising people from the dead and healing people, walking on water. So they're so distracted by all these miracles and the manifestation of God, him being revealed, that when he tries to teach them stuff, they're like, wait, I don't really get it, because did you just see how many people you fed with these 2 loaves and these fish? So this whole idea that manifested distracts us. But when God is hidden, suddenly we're in a place that he's able to teach us really deep truths about himself, about life, about ourselves, about the people in our world, about how we're meant to live. So here's what I want to encourage you on. If some of you might feel like you haven't felt God in a long time, maybe even questioning whether he's real or whether he loves you or whether he's with you. But just maybe, for a lot of you out there, God has chosen to be hidden. He's with you, he loves you, promises never to leave you, he's with you all the time. But maybe, just like in this verse, maybe he's keeping you from seeing himself so that he can teach you some deep truths, so that you're not distracted by his glory. And maybe this is just a season where he wants you to know some really deep truth. So what I want to encourage you to do is, if you feel that, you're like, man, I just haven't felt God in a while, in this season, instead of getting mad that you're not experiencing God, maybe just sit down with a notebook and a pen and say, God, what are you trying to teach me? I feel like you're hidden. Maybe you're trying to reveal some deeper truths about me or you or life or whatever. What is it that you're trying to teach me? And just see what God tells you. Just see what you experience, what you learn, how you grow, how you mature. Because just maybe God hasn't, pulled away from you. He's still with you, but maybe he's keeping you from recognizing him so that he can teach you some deeper things. So anyway, that's Random Bible number 6. Thanks for joining me. I don't have a new hat for this one, but I do have a new watch. It tells me my heart rate too. What's my heart rate now? It's 133. Oh no, that's the time. Alright, thanks for joining me guys on Random Bible number 6. We'll see you next time. Dugan out.